And as I said in my story, what I needed as a consultant was a laptop and a space to work. And I started working my network because the network is sometimes the net worth. Welcome to another episode of Unexpectedly Successful, the podcast that will bring inspiration, know-how, role models, and anything else that you may need for you to take action into launching your own business. Professional women out there listening to me, thank you for joining me in another conversation. And if you're listening to this episode, you may be hearing something that may be out of timeline for you if you're listening to it at a different point than I am recording. But today is February 14th, and I live in the US, and there is a celebration of Valentine's Day. And that has caused me to be inspired to share with you something key to why you find me here week and week again, because the love that I feel for the people that I am called to serve, and if you're listening to this podcast, I am called to serve you. And I want to tell you that I appreciate the time that you gift me in listening to this podcast, in listening to the interviews, in checking out the new material that we provide for you, and that I am committed to continue to make a difference in your life and continue to add value. So happy Valentine's Day a week or more later. But also I want to tell you that I demonstrate my love and care every day as much as I can, because that's how we roll in here. So anyway, that was something that came into me because of Valentine's Day. And now we go back to the episode for today. And I'm going to switch gears drastically because today's topic is something that is very important that I have heard over and over again as a reason why people do not start their businesses. And when I ask people who say, I wish I could start my business, and I said, why haven't you? And one of the reasons that I've heard is because I don't have the money to launch it. And so if you are in that category where you think that you need big amounts of money, or that you have done the numbers and you don't have the budget to do it right now, please stay tuned because I'm going to give you strategies on how to get there. Okay, so the first thing is, the topic of today is finding money to fund your business. How fun is that? Can you imagine having the money that you need and that you desire to make that dream a reality? The first thing, let's start with the basics. What is a budget? And yes, you may be saying, really, are you asking me what a budget is, Dr. Griselda? And I want to tell you yes, because I want us to have the strongest foundation for the next steps that I'm going to be sharing with you. So a budget, in a very simple way, is where we capture the income or the revenue, either for the household or the business, and we capture the expenditures coming out of the household or the business, and we have a difference between those two. If revenue or income is greater than expenses, then we have a happy day. So we do a happy dance. However, if the expenses are bigger than our revenue or income, then we need to stop right now and think how we are going to stop that from happening, because that means that expenses are over our income and revenue, and that may be causing that you do a carry on credit card balances, or that you ask for loans, or that you ask for cash checks. And all of those things will actually be very negative in the long run if you keep doing it as a strategy to compensate for the bigger expenses versus the revenue or income. So that's just a little parenthesis that if that is your case, please consider what strategies can you take to at least break even between revenue or income and expenses? Because we don't want it to go for a long time. So that is me just making sure financial healthy strategies are in place. So going back to the budget and how we can find money to launch our business. The first thing that I'm going to ask you to consider is strategy number 1, identifying unnecessary expenses. So once you have a budget, let's say that every month, the first of the month, you sit down and you say, in the household, I'm going to spend $100 a week on gas. I'm going to spend $300 a week on groceries. I'm going to spend $1,500 on rent. And you go on and on and on, beginning with the fixed expenses that you have recurrent every month, and then with the ones that are more flexible down the line. Once you have all those list of expenses, then the next thing is I want you to take a hard look at these expenses and think of the following. Do I really need to incur into that expense? And I have examples of people around me and even myself. Actually, I am closing the year of 2023. And I have found that these expenses that have been recurrent are unnecessary expenses. Subscriptions that are there that I'm not actually using. And by the way, have you noticed that subscriptions and memberships is just, that's how business models run nowadays? And you have subscriptions for just about everything. So look at the potential ways that you can save money from cutting unnecessary expenses. Another thing is, for instance, do you go out for eating out often? And if you are, I'm not saying cut them all, but can you adjust the number of times that you eat out and instead cooking at home to take for lunch, or maybe having family and friends come over without having to go to a restaurant that may be a bigger expense. Another potential area for you to consider is, like, are you buying coffee out at a Starbucks or a Dutch & Brothers often, that all of a sudden is $7 here, a $3 there, and $9 there adds up to lots of money at the end of the month and then at the end of the year. So can we have a hard look at our expenses and identify what are non-essential expenses that we can cut? Okay, number 2, turning those expenses into savings. As I said earlier, are you going out for coffee 3, 4, 5 times a week? And is it just you, or is it just you and your spouse? Is it you both and your kids? And now it went from a $5 to a $20 expense 3 or 4 days a week. And then if that is the case, then let's say $40 times 5, that ties into a lot of money at the end of the year. So can you make coffee at home instead of buying it on the go? That will boost the possibilities of you saving money for your business. And as you are going into this very hard look at expenses, can you identify these trends that you can substitute the bigger expenses for something that is less expensive? Another thing that I'm thinking is a wardrobe. Are you buying like the trendiest pieces of clothing out in the market? That maybe where money holes are for you. Or are you subscribed to the gym and you're not even going because it's already February and our New Year resolutions are already stopping? Or how about us replacing it for exercises at home that continues to make our lives strong and fitness, but does not incur into an additional expense? So remember, every dollar that you save can go towards your business and for us to eliminate that reason of you not launching your business. Strategy number 3. This is you creating a budget. So with savings identified, once you have gone through the expenses that can be unnecessary, then you have already turned those into savings. Now we're going to craft a budget. And please add a category of business savings. And I don't care if that is $5 a month, $20 a month, $100 a month, but you having a business savings category puts in your mind that it is a priority for you and that you will work towards achieving your goal. And I am so amazed by how our minds work, because once we have set a goal, our minds will work towards achieving that, whether we're doing consciously or unconsciously. So then the strategy number 3 is for you to have a budget, and within that budget to have business savings as a category with an amount attached to it. Remember, you can utilize apps on your phone, you can utilize an Excel spreadsheet, or you can write it down on a piece of paper. The key is for you to have a budget that you know you are following, and that even small contributions over time make a difference. And it's better to start small than to never start, because done is better than perfect. So keep that in mind. Strategy number 4, leverage your resources to reduce what you're thinking is necessary to start your business. And this I am referring to you thinking, what can I do to leverage low-cost resources that will help me in the launch of this business? And let me tell you something really interesting. When I started my own business, some of you may have heard this story. When I started my own business, I had an old laptop, maybe 4 or 5 years old, that actually one of the ports didn't work, but it didn't matter because it was a functional laptop. And I started with the economic development consulting services with my personal Gmail, meaning I didn't have to pay a domain. I did not have to pay for an email attached to my domain. I already had the laptop. Because of remote work, I had already found a corner in my house and a desk and a chair that I could use to continue to work on my dream as my business. And so it was really interesting for me to consider, what do I need for the launch of my business and how can I be super efficient in getting me there? Another thing is, there is so much information on the internet that we can easily access. Okay, big parenthesis here. Please make sure that whatever you find on the internet, it's a legit source and it's something that is actually adding value to you in a positive way, and not just information that is wrong or that is misleading, because not everything on the internet is true. So please, when you are watching any content on the internet, make sure that you verify the source and that it is actually a legit piece of advice. So with that caveat, I want to share that there is so much on YouTube, podcasts like this, that can help you get to resources without you having to pay for those services. And like in social media, right? Instagram and Facebook, and experts sharing a lot of different areas of their knowledge and information and hacks and resources that may help us lower the initial costs for the start of our business. So what are low cost resources or free that you can leverage for the launch of your business? And number 5 and final is understand the real needs to launch your business. And I'm going to go back to the initial comment I had given you. When I have talked to people saying that they don't have the money to start their own business. And I even had somebody who was being offered a loan of $50,000. They told her that they had been pre-qualified for a loan of $50,000. This was a daycare business. And she was very excited because she's like, $50,000. And I said, but how are you going to use that? Do you have a budget? Do you understand that this is a loan and that you will have to pay it back? Do you understand that this has to be, if you go into actually having this loan, you need to strategically know how you're going to invest it into your business so you can recuperate that $50,000 plus a profit on what you're investing. So my story about this $50,000 loan is that she was very excited about the possibility of additional $50,000 without really understanding the needs and the areas that she had a need of. And so in our instance, if you are an aspiring entrepreneur and you say, I need money to launch this, I'm going to challenge you and I'm going to ask you to detail everything in writing of the things that you believe are crucial, not wanted, but crucial for you to launch your business. And as I said in my story, what I needed as a consultant was a laptop and a space to work. And I started working my network because the network is sometimes the net worth. And so what are the resources that you already have that may prevent you from spending money that you may not necessarily have right now, where you are starting to create revenue that then later on you can reinvest in your business and then fill in for the things that you want for your business to grow faster if you reinvest that money. But remember, is it an essential expense or something that you want? And if it is a want, I will ask you, do you want to have your business more than what you want that piece of software or computer or desktop or whatever it may be that you think that you need, that we can postpone the purchase in order for you to launch your business? I want you to launch your business because once you launch, then things can just be tweaked and improved upon. But as long as we continue to think about, what if I were to launch my business? One day I will launch my business. As long as we keep postponing it, the more discouraged we will get and the less momentum we will have. So I want you to launch your business, even if it's on a shoestring, because once you're going, we can adjust the direction. So anyway, make money for your own business and then reinvest it. Don't let money stop you from your dream of owning your own business. To conclude today's episode, I want to tell you that financial constraints need not to be your stopper. And even if it takes time for you to save money for the things that you need to start your business, please make sure that today you start taking action and enabling you to be closer to the launch of your own business. Because I know how frustrating, I know how important it is for you to launch your business. Even when you have tried to put that dream to the side, it's come back to haunt you. Because the faster you put actions behind your dreams, the faster you will get to achieving those dreams. Remember, Your most important resources are your creativity, your resilience, and your willingness to learn and adapt as you go. So don't let money stop you from doing anything. Today, it's been a pleasure to be here with you to share some strategies on how you can start taking steps towards the launch of your own business and debunk the idea that money will stop you from getting there. Just to summarize, the items that we've covered today is identify the unnecessary expenses that can be cut, that then those unnecessary expenses now available in your budget, turn those into savings. Number 3, create a budget with a line item that it says business savings. And remember, it doesn't have to be $100. It can be $5, $20, whatever you think you can afford on a monthly basis that gets you to where you need to be. Number 4, leverage the resources to reduce the launch of your business as much as you can. And number 5, understand the real needs to launch your business. And as a big caveat, not the wants, but the real needs for your business. So thank you for tuning in to Unexpectedly Successful. And join us next time as we explore more ways on how we're going to get you from point A to point B, launching your business, because you know you have a business within you. If you found value in this episode, please help us by sharing, liking, and subscribing, and get this message to those who are in need of inspiration, know-how, and role models so they can get to launching their own business faster. Until next time, your host, Dr. Griselda Martinez, and business coach. More to come.